Hi everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. My January 2018 paper pumpkin box just arrived. Before we dig into that, I wanted to mention to everyone that Paper Pumpkin is having a little contest for the month of January 2018. It's called the Red Box Challenge. You are to use this hashtag when you're posting your project either on Facebook or Instagram. And you can use any of our past kits. And what they're going to do with everybody that enters using this hashtag, they're going to pick some random winners. So it doesn't matter how pretty or how complicated. Just make a project using a past kit, load it on Facebook or Instagram, and then make sure you put this in the comments. I wanted to show you what I made. I posted it today on my Facebook page. I actually used the December box that came as plaid, and I decorated using the December kit. And I added a few things. I added a butterfly, some ribbon. I also added ribbon on the side. And I added a handle. This is just a regular pull-out handle. And what I did is I just punched 2 holes and screwed them in. I haven't decorated the inside yet, but this was my Red Box Challenge entry. So I hope you will do the same. So let's dig into the new box that just arrived. Oops, I have it upside down. And I already know, because I saw some sneak peeks, that this is going to be a Valentine's themed. We get a rich raspberry stamping spot. You know, I used to always not open these and put them away because I like my larger pads. But now that we have the Stamparatus available to demonstrators that bought them, and they will be available to customers on June 1st. This is perfect to use with the Stamparatus because you can ink a stamp very easily. So I'm going to be holding on to these from now on. Now this is the stamp set. Happy Valentine's Day. There's a love, the X's and O's, a few sentiments, and I love these cute little envelopes. And this one is called Heartfelt Love Notes. And it looks like there's 16, which is perfect for if you have one of your children in school and they need Valentine's. I also like having kits like this that I can hand out, like when I run errands in town. I like to give some to like my hairdresser, people that work at the bank. You know, there's always people that you can give stuff like this to, just to put a smile on their face. That's what I love about this. So these are the envelopes and the craft paper. And then we have, let's see how many designs. These have little hearts on them. So that's one of the patterns. The other one has the stripes, and they're made to open sideways like this. Isn't that cute? And that's, I think that's Flirty Flamingo for a color. These are black and white, but this one is copper embossed. Very shiny, very pretty. We have some ribbon that has the copper on the edges. And then we also have some enamel shapes. And I would say those are Berry Burst and Flirty Flamingo, stamping dimensionals. And for the remainder of the kit, we have, of course, the glue dots. These are the little inserts that we're going to be stamping on. And I think, I haven't looked at the directions yet, these are just going to slide right in. Isn't that cute? I love the scalloped edge. Some little adhesive backed layers. And then we have these that are, they just pop out and you can stamp on them. And then we have some vellum hearts and vellum banners. And of course, last but not least are the instructions. So I'm going to clean off my counter, and then we're going to create 2 exactly like the kit, and then I'll show you a few alternate ideas also. And the ribbon, of course, is all has little folds in it, and you've seen me do this before, but for some of you that are new, let me move my ink pad. I bring in a bone folder and I just run it across a couple times, and you'll see that that will straighten it right out. It straightens out your ribbon. Another thing, on your direction sheet there is a ruler here, and on the instructions it says to use 12 inches of the ribbon. This only goes up to 9, so what I did is I measured 6 and 6 again. And then I'm going to straighten this one out. And of course you can use the first one that you cut as a guide and then cut the rest of them, cut 15 more of this size. So for the first card, which is the one with the little shimmery hearts on it, you're going to need a little card base insert, a vellum banner, the white sentiment layer, and they are using the white side, so I'm going to stick with the instructions. And we're also going to need one of the pink banners that is self-adhesive. The stamps on this one is the one that says "You make my heart happy." I'm using the little envelope with the 1 heart, so that makes the heart happy. One of the little stamps, and I did put one on each side of my block. And then this sentiment layer, which says Happy Valentine's Day. So let's do the sentiment layer first on the small banner. I'm going to ink my stamp. So there's the first one. We'll bring in the insert. And the insert is where you're going to stamp the little envelope in the bottom corner. Oh, that's cute. I love that little heart. And they've also stamped on the inside of the card base. So we're going to add the Happy Valentine's Day. And then we're going to add a few hearts. Oh, this actually says from and to. I don't think that's the right one. Okay, I see how they did that. They did added the 2 and the from. I didn't do that one very well. So this goes on the inside. And then I'm going to bring in my paper piercer and just poke out these little holes. There's 1 on each side. And to save time, so you don't have to watch me peel the glue dots, I'm just going to use mine from my roll. I'm going to add 2 glue dots to the vellum. And I'm pretty much gluing this so that the ribbon is in the center. And then we'll add the adhesive banner on top of that. And then the sentiment is going to be glued with the stamping dimensionals. So these are pretty quick and easy. You have 16 of these to make, so it's nice that you can just do production style. And that goes on the front like that. And then you're going to thread the ribbon through the 2 holes. I love this idea. I'll have to try that on some of my cards. And then you just tie a bow. And then I'll just bring in my scissors and cut the ribbon at an angle. Now I haven't seen a video on this, so I'm assuming that's how the ribbon goes, because when you untie it, then you just take it apart. So that's card number 1. One thing I didn't notice is in the picture, they used the Rich Razzleberry enamel dots. So let's put a couple of those in there. So I think I'm going to do 2 down here and then 1 at the top. See how that finishes it off? And we're going to do the same thing with the other card. So same thing, this time it's the one with the white stripes. We're going to use a card base, a sentiment with the gold, a little heart, and then we're going to need another piece of ribbon. So again, I have 12 inches, and I'm going to smooth it out. Now this one, we're going to glue the heart to the front. And then I'm going to use the, what does this one say? Sending hugs and kisses to you, and it's going in this direction. So that's that one, and then we're going to glue this in place with Stamping Dimensionals. So this one is just the 2 layers in the front and then the addition of the enamel dots. That goes right there. Now it says you can add up to 5 of these per card. So we're going to do that this time. Let's do 5. So that's 3, 4, and 5. Isn't that cute? And then let's remove the little pokey holes. And then the envelope image on this one has a bunch of hearts. Hearts and kisses. So that's where the hugs and kisses comes in. Isn't that cute? I keep saying isn't that cute because it really is. Now on this one, if you don't want to add the 2 and the from on the inside, you don't need to. So I'm just going to do the Happy Valentine's Day on this one. Okay, fold that over. I need to move my card over from the hole. And we'll tie this into a bow, and the card number 2 will be done. Okay, and let's trim the ribbon. So if you are happy with these 2 cards the way they are, let me see if I can put a piece of white under here so they'll stand out a little bit more. So you can make your kit with these cards exactly the way they are. It's quick to make, especially if you need them for like a school function for your children. But I'm going to show you a couple alternative ideas, so stay tuned. For my first alternative project, I'm using the one with the stripes, and I've actually gone ahead, and cut this flap off. I'm using the Sweet and Sassy heart dies, and I've cut the larger, these are the 2 smallest ones. I've used the larger of the smallest and cut one out of the flap color, and then I cut one, the smallest one, with white. I'm going to bring in the XOXO stamp and stamp that on the small heart. And then I'm going to bring in one of the vellum hearts and glue that in place. If you don't have these dies, I'm sure you have something similar that you could use. They don't have to be the same size. I'm going to add that. Now I did measure this with the envelope. There's not a lot of wiggle room there. So make sure when you add the heart that it stays to the inside of the card. Then we're going to glue. Where did my glue dots go? I need to cover these hearts, or these glue dots, I mean. So I'm going to put that one like so. And then add the small one right there. Now let's work on the insert. And I'm going to use the same stamps. I'm going to use the one that has the X's and hearts. But I'm going to add a sentiment to this. Now I want to make sure that it shows. So I'm going to tuck this in. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then we're going to add the ribbon. Even though there's no flap there, I'm still going to add the ribbon. Because even though there's a bow here, you should still be able to slide that in there. I'm going to try to make this bow a little bit smaller than the others. But I'm just going to keep pulling. Whoops. That one stuck to my fingers. Okay. And we'll do some short tails on this one. So that still makes for a cute little pull-out card. So that's project number 1. Oh, you know what? Let's add a little bit of bling. I always forget the bling. I'm going to add the rich raspberry this time. And just that little bit of extra is so pretty. Okay, so that's alternative card number 1. Moving on. For card number 2, I'm actually going to use the guts of the sentiment layer. What I've done is I've gone ahead and cut one right down the center. And when you do that, this cuts the width of this little piece in half. So in order to make it look good, I went ahead and cut off a little bit off the 3 other sides to make this equal. I am also using this piece that we cut off of card number 1, and I cut 4 more hearts. So 2 are on this pink side and 2 are from the stripe side. So we've got 4 hearts. We're also going to need 4 of the sentiment layers. And then for the inside of the card, Whisper White, measuring 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And Basic Black, because I want to stick with the black theme that we have going on. And this is 5 inches by 7 and scored at 3.5 and folded. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and glue this in place on the front of the back card base, the black card base. I'm thinking ahead here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the sides. And then I'm going to press this in place and center it. Maybe bring my scrap down. Okay, so that's what the front of the card is going to look like. Let me bring in my bone folder too so I can press down on this. I always try to use what's in my kit, so in case some of you guys are just Paper Pumpkin subscribers and have no other stamping supplies, I try to stick with what's in the box. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Be Mine. We'll stamp that on one of the sentiment layers. I'm bringing in the rest of this piece. I'm going to stamp the little heart, and then I'm going to bring in my paper snips. Very simple. I'm going to leave an edge and cut the little envelope out. So for those of you that don't like to fussy cut, this is easy. 4 straight cuts. Okay, now let's glue. Let me move this. Let's glue the hearts. Let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm thinking to myself, so disregard me. Let me get my stamping dimensionals. I'm going to glue the sentiment layer first. And what I'm essentially doing is creating an eclipse card because I'm putting it back where it belongs, but you can see the shadow of the black underneath. And let's see, I think I'm going to glue these all in place so I can figure out where I want. I think I know in my head where I want everything, but I'm doing this without having a sample ahead of time. So if I make a boo-boo, you get to see it all. That's what I usually like about YouTube videos. I can stop and edit if I need to, but not with Paper Pumpkin because I don't make my projects ahead of time. Okay, isn't that kind of neat how those are all raised? Makes for a pretty card. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll glue everything flat because we already have the height. Oops, wrong bottle. I'm going to put the little envelope up here, and then we'll glue one of the flirty flamingo hearts and one of the striped hearts. And the other one I'm going to start out with a striped heart. Come on. And the pink heart on that. Okay, let me make sure I got these where I want them. Now, to bling or not to bling, I think what I'm going to do is take one of these larger ones and just put one in the center there and one on each end. And that's all I'm going to do for the bling. Okay, and then on the inside, let's add the envelope with the little hearts. And we might as well add a sentiment on the inside too. So sending you hugs and kisses. And we'll glue that on the inside. So as you can see, if you're making alternatives, whoops, what's wrong with my snail? Let me get another one. So what I was saying is you can see you can mix and match the sentiments. That's what's great. There's a lot to play with in this stamp set. Okay, and that's card number 2. I really like how that one turned out. Moving on to card number 3. For card number 3, I actually, this came to mind right away when I opened one of these. I saw this little corner pocket, and I immediately, it came to mind that this would make a good corner bookmark for a book. So what I've done is I've cut that and I've left some of the flirty flamingo. So this is what your card would look like. What you do first is cut the flap off, and then I cut right above where the little hole was for the ribbon, and I left a little bit of the pink there on the Flirty Flamingo. So we're going to make a bookmark with this. Let me bring a white sheet of paper so you can see. I'm going to use one of the vellum hearts, and I wanted to add some type of a critter here for a child. So I am using the Party Pandas stamp set. This is very popular right now because it's a free stamp set you can earn during celebration. If you place a $50 order, you can earn this stamp set for free. So I've gone ahead and stamped this little guy. Isn't he cute? I've stamped him with basic black ink on white cardstock. And I also want to add another envelope like we did with the other card. So I'm going to stamp this and cut it out with the scissors. Now the other one would be too hard to cut because of the hearts that are flowing from it. So again, I'm going to leave just a small edge around the inked lines. Now this I want to remain flat as much as possible because it's going to be tucked inside a book. So let's go ahead and glue the heart in place. And I'm just going to make sure it's not overlapping over the black. Then I'm going to add the little bear. A lot of my customers have picked this stamp set as their free celebration item. I mean, why not? They're so cute. And then let's just tuck. It's gonna have to go this way. The little envelope in there. And I think I will add just a few of the smaller enamel shapes. Those shouldn't bother too much. And let's do one more right here. So just to show you, I'm going to bring in a cardstock piece, and this would slide into the page of a book to make a cute little bookmark. So isn't that cute? I really like this one. That's the first thing that came to mind when I saw this kit. It's funny how the little light bulb goes off sometimes when you first open something. So I'm going to do one more project with you, and then I'll probably have more on my blog. And if you are one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, of course you'll get your monthly newsletter with all my projects. For my fourth project, we're going to make a pocket tag. Now what I've done is I've taken one of these and cut this to measure 2.5 inches across. And then I'm going to bring in a pencil, and I'm going to trace this curve so I can cut it by hand. Because the corner punch that we have is the envelope punch board, and it's a lot smaller, so it would not match. Okay, so I've rounded the corner off to coordinate with the other side. The other layers you're going to need, I've gone ahead and cut off, hold on, 3 scallops. So we got 5 here that we're going to use, and that's going to fit inside like that. I've also gone ahead and cut one off the top of a second sheet, and I've removed 2 of the scallops, and this is about, I would say, 1/2 inch. What I'm going to do with that is bring in one of our self-adhesive, and I'm trying to decide, I'm going to put that about 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch from the bottom, And I'll bring in my glue dots. And add this to the bottom like that. And you know, I don't think I like that. I'm going to take that back off. This is one case where I had something in my mind and it's not looking the way I want it. So let's add a piece of the vellum banner. And we'll center that. Whoops. And I had gone ahead and stamped the X's and O's repeatedly along the edge of the piece that we cut the scallops off of. And then I cut it as skinny as I could. And then I just snipped both ends. And what I'm going to do is take the stamping dimensionals right on the edge here because they're skinnier. And that fits perfectly on this layer. I thought the scallops were going to work with this, but of course I ended up taking them off. Okay, so that's going to go on the bottom like that. And I'm still going to add the ribbon, so poke the hole out. The reason I'm going to stop at 4 projects today, I want to use some of these to put chocolates in, and I don't have any chocolates on hand. So that's why I'm going to work on more projects after this one, and you'll see them later. Because I think those pockets would make cute little treat holders. Okay, and there's the ribbon. And now let's work on the little insert. Now I'm going to add the Be Mine. I'm going to put it at the bottom, but leave room there for somebody to write a little note. And then I'm going to tuck that in here. And then I'm going to use the Love, ink it once, and then stamp it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now I did make a little boo-boo right there, so I'm probably going to redo this, but just to give you an idea. I think what happened is there's quite a bit of ink on the end and I tilted it just a little too much. So anyway, just for now, I will redo this, but as they pull this out, then they would see the other greeting on the bottom. I hate it when I do that. I don't like making mistakes like that, but that's okay. It's fixable. So we have the pocket tag. So this actually could be used on a gift, or you could also put it on the front of a card base with a nice designer paper on the background maybe. And then we have the bookmark. We have the eclipse card. And what was my other one? Oh, the other one was the other pocket card. And then the 2 like the kit. So make sure you check my blog. I'll have more ideas later. And if you are not subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, you're really missing out on a lot of beautiful kits. Our program has come a long way and it keeps getting better and better. There seems to be more cards, which is what people were asking for. And even though, like, take for example these cards, if you're not a Valentine's person, this could be adapted to any holiday just by making alternative versions of some of these cards. So check my blog, sign up for Paper Pumpkin. I'll have the link at the end of my video. And don't forget to enter the Red Box Challenge if you're a current subscriber. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for your thumbs up.